Hello everybody and welcome to my show, Colin Talks Crypto, with your host, myself, Colin. And today we are going to bring you a ton of hot new subjects on the topic of EOS, such as breaking news and a special announcement of a new wallet called MyEOSWallet. I personally tested and used it, very cool. Chintai, a new resource exchange type platform that came out before REX did. New EOS Blocksmith dashboard page and other services that I found useful. Information on EOS Airdrops all in one place. Block.one responds regarding BP Collusion. Block.one iOS mobile wallet progress. Mereo, an independent block producer ratings platform. And I hope you guys are having a great day. And thank you for joining me so that I can share with you EOS Mega Update Volume 13. Okay, let's start it off with a bang here. So I am very honored and privileged to be the first to introduce you to MyEOSWallet. And this is it right here, guys. And I'm gonna give you a little history on this. So if you remember a short while back, there were two competing Ledger app implementations. One was by a user named CryptoFairy, and another was by a user named AltShiftDev. And this site here is created by AltShiftDev. And I've been talking with him and kind of helping test the site out. And I am very happy with what I see here. It actually reminds me a lot of what MyEtherWallet did for the Ethereum community, but now we have this for EOS and it works today and you can use it right now. So the address is altshiftdev.com, and when you load that up, you'll see this page here. And you'll see that right now it has support for Ledger Nano S, Ledger devices, possibly Ledger Blue as well. Coming soon will be Trezor support and Scatter support. Now the thing I like about this so much is that it is such a lightweight client. You don't have to download anything. You can use this from any web browser and you just plug in your Ledger into your computer and you're good to go. You do not even need to download a piece of software. I think that right there makes it so cool, just like MyEtherWallet did. So to get started, you click on Ledger, you plug in your Ledger device, and you accept it. And when you click on the button, you will then be presented with any addresses that are linked to that particular Ledger public key. All right, so now I'm in here. You can see everything about my account. You can see my EOS, my RAM, network, CPU, bandwidth, you name it. And if I want to make a transaction, I click on this little hamburger icon here, and you can send EOS to another user. You can type a memo here, the receiving address here, send to this guy, assuming that's 12 characters. How many EOS I want to send them 5 EOS, etc. And then you click validate. And what it will do is pop up on your Ledger Nano S, you click approve, it'll sign that transaction and it'll transmit it on the network. You can also choose different APIs so that you don't have to depend on just one. If you wanted to choose your favorite block producer API, you have EOS New York, Graymass, Block Matrix, EOS Sphere, etc. But you can just leave it on the default and it works totally fine. So the site is fully functional. However, I think that he might be still working on how easy it is to find certain functions within the site because they're all here, just some of them are a little buried. So if you click on this icon here, you can get to every feature on the site. And you have to click here under this, and you'll see that you can send EOS, buy RAM, sell RAM, increase stake, reduce stake, and vote. So you can do basically everything that the Scatter wallet can do, but without having to have downloaded the software. And for example, you can increase or reduce your stake, and you would type in how much EOS you want to use for the network and for the CPU, and it will delegate that as such. And personally, I hope that he adds the feature of that dual slider like Scatter invented, and so that you can choose how much CPU or bandwidth you want without going over your limit, but while also using your full supply if you want to. It just is really convenient. So I hope he adds that feature. And let's explore a few features of this. So in this menu here, you can see things about your account. For example, transactions shows you a whole running history of your account. And I really like how it's laid out here, kind of like a timeline of events with what kind of action took place. And then if you want to filter it further, for example, any time you sent a token, you can filter it by that, or anytime you received a token, or when you delegated CPU net or RAM, or things about your account, or block producer votes. You can see where I voted here. And so very useful transaction log. I haven't seen one that's that clear before. And again, if you want to vote, you could go over here and you can vote right within the wallet itself. You can choose up to 30 block producers here. So click on your favorite block producers and then click vote for them. And if you want to vote for a proxy, you would click on this toggle here and then type their name. And I'm going to give a shout out to Investing with the Difference right now, because I think that he does an awesome job on his YouTube channel. Do yourself a favor and get a lot of good information there. And his proxy is called Investing WAD with a Difference. And he has an awesome selection of block producers. I personally recommend you use him as a proxy. If you don't have the time or the inclination to do all that research and to pick who's a good block producer, he has done the footwork for you. And do the community a favor and vote. Don't not vote just because you don't know who's the best person to vote for. Vote for a proxy and you will help everyone out. Okay, that was a little side bonus there. So you can click that and then click validate, and it will let you choose your ledger, and then you confirm it, and that will vote for the proxy or the BPs, however you wanted to do that. Again, very awesome. Thank you so much to AltShiftDev for creating an awesome tool for all EOS users that you can make use of today. Go to altshiftdev.com. All right, and on to the next bit of news here. Again, equally awesome, Chintai. If you've never heard of this before, it's a resource exchanging platform very similar to what Dan Larimer was talking about as the REX, but a separate creation created by a group of block producers actually, and they created it for free. There's no fees. There's no fees to trade on this platform. So the REX was going to have a 0.5% trading fee for every trade. Chintai has a 0% fee, but there are pros and cons to each one. Right now it looks like the market is still correcting, but you can get up to 1% or so return when you lend out your tokens. And also, I think that the site was down. It just came back up. It was down for a couple days. Users had apparently been getting confused between lease and stake, and now I think it says borrow and lend. So it's a lot more clear in my opinion, because lease can mean two things. You can be leasing something to someone, or you can lease from someone. And I think that led to a lot of confusion. And they fixed that. It's just a button label issue. There was nothing wrong behind the scenes on the code on that. So now it's back up and running, and you can make a return by lending out your tokens. And so let's check this out a little bit. So this was the announcement. This is at Chintai EOS on Twitter. They say, Chintai is live. We could not be more excited to announce that EOS.Chintai.io is now live and ready to use. We welcome the community to finally begin leasing their EOS. And they have a whole post on this. I read the whole thing. It sounds very cool. And here are the sponsors. This is who created Chintai. Very reputable, solid group of block producers. We have EOS 42, EOS New York, Detroit, Canon, Dublin, Nation, EOS DAC, Oracle Chain, EOS Sphere, Tribe, and EOS Sys. And essentially it's a smart contract on the blockchain that they've been testing for months and finally released to the public. So here it is. Powering delegation for the new EOS blockchain. And when you click on that, you will be connected to the actual site here. And you'll see in the top right corner, it's going to connect to your Scatter wallet. And it will show your account name here when you have connected correctly. And it's a very simple site to use. So now, like I said, it shows borrow and lend. So if you have some EOS and you want to make an income on this, it's a very simple process. First of all, on the left side under markets, there are 4 types of markets: 7-day, 14-day, 21-day, and 28-day. And so you pick the market that you want to trade in. It looks like the most number of trades under a market history here has occurred under the 7-day box. So that looks like it might be the most active. Under 14 days, there's only been 3 trades. 1 trade under the 21 days, and a few more trades on the 28 days. So it looks like 28 and 7 are the most commonly used markets on Chintai right now. Again, it's only been up for a couple days, but that probably will be the case. And I could see that because either someone wants it for a short period of time or they want it for a whole month. The going rate is here, so 0.09% for the 7-day market. For the 28-day market, it's 0.2%. So a little bit higher return on the 28-day market currently. And so what you would do is you would just type in how much EOS. Again, I'd highly recommend you just test this with a small amount at first. 10 is the minimum number of EOS that you can use on Chintai. So start with 10 and just make sure you know what you're doing, and then type a percent. So for example, I could do 0.08% so that I'm within the amount here, and I'd click lend. And basically that will put it on the market. It will connect with Scatter. I'll approve it through Scatter, and my trade will then be live for someone to take up. And conversely, if you want to borrow EOS for using for some platform, perhaps a dApp you're creating, then you would use the borrow button. And it's saying, heads up, lease order selected. Do you really want to pay EOS for bandwidth? So they're making sure that you know that you're buying EOS here. You're not renting out your stake. They clarified that for users, which is really great. So all in all, a super professional, well-made site, free to the community to use, no trading fees. And they're still working out a few things like, for example, right now, just be aware that you will not get airdrops. If your tokens are on the exchange, you will not get airdrops. And they're going to make it so that you can get airdrops. They're working on that feature. So that'll be even more awesome. So you can not only lend out your tokens to other users, but then you can still get airdrops while doing so. So what is the use case that Chintai offers? Obviously for users, it's a way to make money, but how about the people who need that EOS? Who's the type of market that would use that? And I found a good answer here from the Chintai team. They said it's mainly going to be dApp developers who need access to large amounts of resources. We're building the liquidity pool that businesses will be able to utilize to make their dApp more affordable to run, while at the same time giving users the opportunity to earn interest on their unused EOS. Chintai takes no fees and is a community-owned, sponsored project. And I think it's so cool that the community is creating all this stuff. I noticed kind of a pattern occurring here. Block.one is announcing things, and then the community is doing it. You know, the community was the first to create a Ledger Nano S app. And now there's wallets supporting that integration. And that's before Block.one has their hardware app in the iOS store. And we'll get to that in a second. And then we have the REX, the resource exchange that Dan Lermer talked about. But now we have Chintai, created by the community and out before Block.one created it. So what it's looking like is the community is building EOS to be what it's going to be. And Block.one's going to create great and awesome things, but the community is on top of this. And it's really awesome to see this kind of growth from the community happening. It's like if Block.one did nothing, EOS would still flourish and thrive because the community is the one creating everything that we're seeing right now. So huge props to the team for making Chintai. Keep up the great work, guys. And just to play devil's advocate here on the pros and cons of Chintai versus REX, one thing that I was alerted to while reading their blog post is that Chintai does not reward you for voting like REX will do. And so Chintai having no fees and not forcing you to vote for anyone sort of detracts from the benefit that REX was going to bring, which was to encourage voters and reward voters. And I think it still will, because REX is going to reward differently than Chintai. It's a different system, and you'll get the benefits of ENS name trading fees, for example, on top of CPU and bandwidth. But it's just interesting to weigh the two against each other. Chintai really doesn't encourage voting. It allows you to vote, and I think they're going to increase it from 10 block producers to a full 30 eventually. But REX is the one that says you've got to vote to use our service to be rewarded. And Chintai is not incentivizing users to vote in that same way. And I was really, really looking forward to a system that strongly encourages voters, because we so badly need that to level the playing field with these whale block producers. So we'll see how this all develops. Hopefully voters will still increase their votes while using Chintai and REX as well. And if you were looking for a good homepage for your web browser or your mobile phone, this might be it. EOS Blocksmith has just created this dashboard page, and it's dashboard.eosblocksmith.io. And there's all sorts of information here. You've got the current block producers, the current block, the market cap valuation of EOS, all the block producers, and the voting information here. A graph of the price as listed in Bitcoin, Ethereum, US dollars, etc. We've got the latest news. There's the total and free RAM. There's the RAM prices graph, a featured article, featured video, of which they had me up there for a little while and not anymore. Maybe they'll put this video up. And some information on the various tokens. And then if you go on even more, you've got explorers. They've got a list of explorers, a list of wallets, airdrops, RAM, boats, videos. It's just an all-in-one comprehensive place to get your fix of EOS data. So this is the EOS Blocksmith dashboard. Check it out, guys. All right, and one of the awesome things about EOS is all the airdrops that we get. We get so many airdrops. Sometimes it's so many that it's hard to keep track of what's happening. And this site sums it up well. He says, I'm sure like many of us, I've been trying to keep track of the available airdrops to us EOS holders. And based on my analysis, it does seem to be a bit of a hit and miss affair. On the one hand, some are pure airdrops where you have to do nothing to receive them, while others are either air grabs or claim drops that require us to actively go get them by performing a variety of tasks. All pretty confusing, no? You bet. So here I will try to present in a clear way what you should or should not be expecting or already have. And so he goes into all the rules of this. So he's assuming that you have at least 100 EOS. And below, he has listed every single token that has been airdropped on EOS. It's a very comprehensive list, as you see here. And he has the type of token, the name of the token, what type of airdrop it was. Was it a claim drop, an airdrop, etc.? Any website or information that goes with it. And so it's your kind of like go-to reference. I had a couple users requested me airdrop information because they didn't want to miss the airdrops. And so, I mean, it's almost impossible to stay on top of it all. This guy offers this really cool resource. This is tribe.one/EOS-airdrop-checklist. And I'm going to put that in the description below. Check it out. Stay up to date on all the airdrops on EOS. You may not want to drive yourself crazy because I have a feeling that a lot of these won't be worth that much, just to be honest. So pick your battles, spend your time wisely. And my personal viewpoint on claim drop style airdrops is that I'm not a big fan of them, and it seems to point at other reasons for doing the airdrop other than just wanting a maximum distribution of tokens on their platform. Because if you think about it, if you really had the goal of maximizing distribution, you wouldn't be requiring users to jump through a bunch of hoops to get a bunch of airdrops. So I kind of try to avoid those. I tried the Meet one and the KEOS ones recently. It was a lot of work, and I probably won't ever do that kind of thing again, to be honest. But if you think about it, like if the platform genuinely, truly wanted the widest distribution, which is the point, right? To have the most decentralized and distributed group of users, then they would make it as easy and seamless as possible, and they would honor snapshots and just airdrop. They wouldn't have you give your email address or sign up for an account or provide this or that information, because that's a friction and that reduces the number of users on the platform. So if you're a dApp developer, please make it easy. Just airdrop the tokens if you actually care about having a lot of users on your platform. If you don't and you just are looking for email signups or something else, then I mean, I think we can tell because you're making it really difficult to get on your platforms. That's just my 2 cents on the subject. So you're probably well aware of the accusations leveled against Huobi, the block producer, and other pools for vote collusion. And it's been denied, of course, so there's not really heavy proof that goes one way or the other. And Block.one issued an official statement on this. It got so much media attention, and really it boils down to like 2 sentences here in the middle. We are aware of some unverified claims regarding irregular block producer voting and the subsequent denials of those claims. We believe it is important to ensure a free and democratic election process within EOS and may, as we deem appropriate, vote with other holders to reinforce the integrity of this process. So they're kind of loosely stating that they will vote if they have to. They have not yet done so, and I'm not sure if or when they will. But at least they're acknowledging that there is potentially a problem. However, it's unverified. I think that there's a very good chance that it is substantiated because of simply the block producer standings. We need to research. ECAF needs to investigate and take action against this. So let's hope we see not just a bunch of talk. That's a good first step, but let's see some actions backing it up. And I hate to stick a stick in a sore wound here, but you know what? Block.one did not keep their word on producing audit results. They, during the ICO, stated that they would have an audit done and publicly produce the results of that audit. And they are not doing it, and they have not said anything about it, and they're remaining silent. And if they say they're going to do something, we as token holders and as the community should hold them to a very high standard. All right, on a little bit lighter note, and this user had an idea of how we could perhaps approach a solution to block producer collusion when it comes to voting. And so he had 4 ideas here. He said 1, increase the block producers to 51. 2, utilize inverse weighted voting, which is a system developed by Telos. 3, eliminate voter decay when people use proxy voters. And 4, give 4% yearly inflation to people that stake and vote for 30 minimum BPs. Some of his ideas are good. I think some are not so good. Number one, I answered here. You can see my response. As far as increasing block producers to 51, bad idea. You can see my previous video for exactly why. Dan already tried to use 101 block producers on BitShares and Steemit, and it turned out not to work. Voters just don't have that kind of attention span, and it just doesn't happen in practice. In theory, it sounds great. In practice, it doesn't work. Watch that video if you haven't already. It explains it fully from Dan's own mouth. 2, inverse weighted voting. Awesome idea. Absolutely should be implemented. Basically, your vote carries more weight the more block producers up to 30 that you vote for. So if you vote for a full 30, you get a heavier weight than if you just voted for 2 block producers. Your vote would be worth very little. And that encourages a more broad vote distribution, which is key to having a decentralized and distributed voting outcome. 3, eliminate voter decay when people use proxy voters. I don't think that it should be eliminated, because what if someone dies or loses their keys? Then forevermore the proxy has control of their votes. No, I think it should be some kind of limit. And so I thought maybe 12 months would be better. Nothing should be forever. And lastly, in regards to a 4% inflation that go to voters, as much as I want a bunch of free money, 4% is way too high. That just inflates the entire system. And yeah, sure, we all get it, but we just don't need to have that kind of inflation, especially when we have projects that hopefully come out soon, such as the resource exchange, the REX, which will give us the fees from trading, so we don't even have to use inflation to reward voters. That's a much better system. So 4% is way too high. It should not be done. So, but I like how the community is coming together and having ideas. Apparently he deleted his account there, but I like how the community is coming together and having ideas and proposing solutions, because that's what we need to fix things like this. And you never know what Block.one will see and go, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should add inverse weighted voting to EOS, just like Telos has. Let's take it, because the community seems to like it. Okay, a new subject here. So amongst all those tokens that you might have gotten could be EDNA. I don't even know what that stands for, but free tokens is free tokens, people. And if you scroll down, this little Steemit post gives you a way to stake with those tokens. Apparently, EDNA can stake. And so what you do is you click on the gray mass wallet under Tools, Smart Contracts, enter the token name, select stake, and etc. Follow those instructions, and you can choose between weekly, monthly, and quarterly payouts. And your monthly payouts will be 1.5 times the weekly rate, and the quarterly will be twice the weekly rate. So the longer you want to stake, the longer the staking period, the more EDNA tokens will be. I hope they're worth a lot, so we all get rich. Okay, and so we have a post here from Wrecked Kid on Twitter, and he said, spoke with a source whom Dan showed the B1 wallet to. Can confirm it has already been submitted to Apple and is awaiting App Store approval. This is awesome news, guys. So the long-awaited wallet that Block.one is programming that has secure enclave encryption using fingerprint, facial recognition is almost here. It could be a matter of a week or maybe more, depends how long the Apple Store takes to review it, but we could have a Block.one wallet on your phone that's secure like a hardware wallet, easy to use, and they said that they're going to allow free accounts. At least I think it was 1 free account per user. So really, really looking forward to this. It could be in a very near future. Stay tuned, and I'll definitely do a video on that when it comes out. So we have a service called Mereo, and I just stumbled upon this randomly. I think I was searching in Google and I found this. And basically, it's a leading independent EOS block producer ratings platform. And it says, using our advanced scoring methodology, we evaluate over 50 block producers across multiple governance and community value add pillars to develop a comprehensive relative performance ranking system. That's a hell of a mouthful right there. Try saying that 3 times fast. So basically they've scored, there's the columns, and they've scored and rated all the various BPs. So if you want to learn more about them, this is probably a good place to start. You could also use a voting proxy, but if you want to vote for yourself, then take a look at this. So they've rated EOS DAC as number 1, EOS Canada as number 2, EOS Authority as number 3, EOS Asia as number 4, EOS New York as number 5, Crypto Lines 6, EOS Nation 7, Rio Brazil 8, Cypherglass 9, and EOS Cafe 10, and so on. And they have a subsection here, methodology. And this details exactly how they came to the votes that they have. So it's not just some arbitrary scoring system. They've got certain rules that they follow, which is good. So they say Pillar 1, voter density. Pillar 2, disclosure and accessibility. Pillar 3, structure and leadership. Pillar 4, value add tools. So you can read these and see exactly how they're scoring. So this is Mereo.io. All right, and I found this post by user Controlling Hand, and he posted this on Twitter. And basically it is a graph of the CPU utilization on the EOS block producers. And over the past 30 days, it has gone down. And you can see how that basically indicates that the network is becoming more efficient in just the past 30 days. Block producers are getting faster at executing smart contracts and creating those blocks. Almost all the lines are going down or staying level. And so it's just getting faster and faster. It's just nice to see that things are being improved upon and getting better. And that's EOS for you, developing at a very fast rate. It's nice to be aboard such a freight train. Okay guys, and that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed watching. And hey, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Kyle of EOS Vibes. I think that he does a great service to the community, just like Investing with a Difference. They both offer awesome channels, YouTube channels. Investing with a Difference offers a proxy voting. Kyle offers various services such as EOS account creation utilities, which I've used several times to create EOS accounts. And just overall, a very friendly and helpful character, a real asset to the community. Thanks guys for being a part of EOS. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Take care, enjoy some sun, get out there, spend some EOS, and EOS for life, guys.